Good evening, viewer. Welcome to yet another edition of Connect with Mary on Uganda Catholic Television. Good news for all. My name is Elizabeth Namazi, and I'm coming to you from Mary Andoa of Notes Presidium. And this evening, I have two guests with us, whom I'll introduce after a prayer. But let me introduce you first. The first guest next to me is Brother Noah Bale. He comes to us from Queen of Angels Presidium in Sumwe Parish, Bulova Parish. He acts as the second assistant secretary of Kampala Central Commission. Our second guest is Brother Matthew Salongo Kalubanga. He's the president of Bikira Maria Umubezi w'aba Kristo Presidium, St. Charles Ranga, Jinja Kalori Parish. Still from Kampala Central Commission. They are coming to us. We are going to discuss a topic about synodality. But before we dive deep into our topic, let me request Brother Noah to give us a prayer. I'm calling you a priest.
Thank you very much, Esther. Let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful, and enkindle in them the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, O Lord, and shall be created, and shall renew the face of the earth. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, it's now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Noah. Before we proceed, let me give you an opportunity to send greetings to a bishop of your choice.
Thank you very much. I send my greetings to Bishop Severus Jumba, Bishop of Masaka Diocese.
Are you originally from Masaka Diocese?
Yes, please.
Oh. Yes, brother.
Thank you, sister. I equally send my greetings to the bishop of my area, that is Bishop Anthony Zwa, Chinda Mitiana Diocese.
Okay, thank you so much. I send greetings to all legionaries, especially the legionaries from my presidium. We just started a youth presidium in our sub-parish, and I send greetings to the youth who belong to Seat of Wisdom Presidium, Bweya sub-parish. Greetings to you all. Thanks for accepting to serve Mother Mary, despite the different challenges. So, let us thank also the presidents of the Senators of Uganda, Mr. Aloysius Chiribaki and his team, as well as all the bishops of our region, for giving us the opportunity to host this show on Uganda Catholic Television. So, our dear viewer, our topic is the impact of the synodal process on the local church. I'm sure many of you may not be very sure about, maybe synodal process is a new word for you. Maybe you've never heard of it. Maybe you have heard of it. Wherever you are, just stay tuned, keep watching. We are going to break the synodal process down for you, and we shall look at the synodality and its significance, and we shall look at how to encourage participation in church discussions and the impact of the synodal process on parish life. All that is under our main topic. So, brother, I'll start where I started from. Brother Noah, can you try to explain to our viewer what does synod mean?
Thank you very much. The word synod comes from the Greek language, sin and hodos.
Sin?
And hodos, which means journeying together.
Oh, I thought sin is I've seen you.
Yes, journeying together. And this is the style of the Catholic Church to bring on board all the faithful, including the laity, the clergy, the bishops, together. They decide, they discern, and move on, like come up with a way forward on how they will live their faith. Yes. So synod is that the document that comes after that engagement. Yeah, so there we come up with the word synod.
Okay, I remember when I was growing up, that there's a time I remember coming across that book with the word synod, synod or what, and like synod, what? I didn't even read it. I was like, this is some language I don't understand.
Yes.
So, dear viewer, it's the meeting of the bishops and the clergy, the priests, laity. It also involves the laity. And in this meeting, they are discussing, you're saying, how we can journey together.
Yes.
There are things that are going to guide the church. Is that where the diocesan, is it motto? This thing that we have there, let us journey together in faith and communion. It's a theme.
Yeah, it is a theme, yes.
So does it come from that meeting, from the synod meeting?
Yes, thank you very much, especially now with this renewed call to synodality. The theme has directly come from that. Originally, there were other themes from other areas, but this call by Pope Francis to synodality, a church that works together, journeys together. The theme, especially for Kampala Archdiocese, has directly come from that. And you have the three elements of synodality moving together, where we have communion, where we participation, and also mission. We all, the faithful, are all called to be missionaries, carrying the good news to every creature. Yes.
So basically, we are discussing a theme.
True. Actually, Kampala Archdiocese, no doubt.
We are trying to break that theme down for our viewer to understand why that theme. The theme I remember mostly, I think it's the past one. Do not be afraid. Pick up your map, your mat, and walk.
Yes.
So now this one we have theme, and I used to wonder, where do these themes come from? Oh, it comes from the synod has to sit, and then they deliberate and all that.
Come up with that.
That's interesting to know. Brother Matthew, what does that theme mean to you? How in your capacity as a lay Christian, because now we all fall under the laity. As a lay Christian, does that theme hold any special meaning for you?
Yeah, Sister, thank you so much for the chance again. And to our viewers, thank you for listening to us. Before probably I can get into that, allow me to simply give some compliment. I know our viewers may be wondering why synod. And I think it is important for us to know this and also to learn on our side.
You're preempting my questions. I was going to ask, why do we even have to know about the synod?
Yes, I was indicating we need to know that the church, first of all, has a law that governs its operations and issues. And normally, this is the canon law.
Yes.
Yes, the canon law is the law of the church. And this law mandates and gives the powers to the Pope to call upon bishops to discuss a pertinent issue in the church. If it is under normal operations of the church, we can have an ordinary synod. And I think you remember recently, I think shortly before, during the time of COVID, 2021, I think that's when the process of our recent synod started. Yes.
How long does it take?
And how long it takes, it depends on the significance of the issue. Yes, and the process ends. I want to indicate that our last synod was impacted on by the lockdowns, the COVID issues, so it took longer than expected, and indeed it was concluded last year, if you recall. The date now is Holiness Pope Francis. That's when he ratified or signed off the document towards the end of last year, 2024.
And how long does, to interrupt you a bit, how long does this synod usually, that document, does it take? How it stays effective for how many years?
It could go on again for some good number of years. If I may recall very well, I think before this recent one, The last one I think had been in 06, around there. Yes, and a number of issues were discussed and operationalized or put into action. So these are the synod we just concluded, which is focused on the three elements we have already talked about, the communion, mission, and communion, participation, and the mission. Is basically looking at how to involve people in running their own church. That's the main element. And you'll notice that as part of that, like you have indicated, the clergy, the lay apostolate, we the people, the Christians or the lay people, we are called upon to participate in running our own church, in praying, learning the message of the good gospel, and also proclaiming, doing the missionary work. So it teaches us to get into that. Now, going back to the question you asked me, what it means in my own understanding to me, getting back at the theme.
And its significance to you.
And its significance to me. In my understanding, going by the theme of the Kampala Archdiocese, we the baptized, let's journey together in communion, participation, and mission. And this signifies to me that as a baptized Catholic, I have a significant role
To play
in the church. What is this role? First of all, myself understanding the foundations that are the key pillars of values on which my faith is built. But also to again, how do I bring this to the other people of the church? This may be people of my own group, my peers. This may be people out of my groups. I want to say that probably I'm an adult now, but I'm looking at going across the age. Yes, going across the age, maybe elderly, but also most importantly, how do I bring these values to the people that are coming for me, after me, the youth that are coming up.
Actually, I want us to go.
These have a lot to learn, and myself, actually, every time I'm getting into to understand the values of the church, I'm always thinking about what those people should be picking from what I do, or people of our generation are doing. So, taking into that, first of all, in the layman's language, doing the mission work, that's what it would mean to me. However, in addition, we note that it is not about the physical work that we are doing, or we need to do the missionary work, but also what we live ourselves, living a Catholic life. I'm looking at it from the point of view being active in the church programs, understanding the sacraments. When I understand them, how do I participate in them? How do I participate in the spiritual development of the church? And to me, this is what the mission, the theme of the Archdiocese is taking us into.
I'll take an example of, because you mentioned something that is very important. How can we encourage the youth to participate? Because after the adult that you think you are, then that you
but I think I am.
that you are probably thinking.
No, why is it that they are those that are higher than me?
I know, of course, you're not the ultimate adult.
Yes.
So after us now, the youth are the next ones, and then of course they are the very young. I would like to group teenagers with the youth.
Yes.
So how can we encourage when you look at our theme, participation? How do you think we can engage the youth, encourage the youth to participate in church activities?
first instance, sister, thank you for this question again. And to you, our dear viewers, the youth is, I think, the church of tomorrow. I always reflect on the words, I think this was the Pope John Paul II. Way back, the words he said when he was in, I think it was German, one of the International Youth Day. If not German, it should have been Australia, one of the two. And his words were, the youth are always at a junction. And what he really meant that, I think you know what it means when you're at the junction. When you decide to take a given route, all your efforts go there.
The route would you choose will actually determine
Yes.
where you'll end up.
Exactly, but even looking at the force you put in, the energy you put in, once you choose to take a given route, all your efforts go there. So His Holiness, then rest in peace, he used those words to show us how critical the youth were. And he indicated that the Catholic Church should greatly focus on the youth so that they get to understand their church, and when they understand it, they will use all their youthful energy and efforts to make the church even stronger. By the time they get into the age of 50s, 60s,
that is even far.
Yes, they have done something so significant for the church. And equally, although I will not spend too much time on it, when they do not understand the church, they become less constructive.
And that's when they leave.
Yes, that's when they leave the church. They go into their different lines. But again, when they go there, all their efforts go there. And it comes to be hard for you to bring them back into the church. But what is important is for us to focus on them, understand the values of the church, bring them into leadership, for example, into participate in the leadership. We are like our apostolate leadership in the church provides for the youth. Yes.
Brother Noah, I love the youth. and like I mentioned at the beginning, I send greetings to the youth. We just started a youth presidium in Asab Parish.
Yes.
And in our last meeting, they meet on Sunday at 4. Our last meeting, one of the youth actually asked one question, because we were telling them, you know, when you're a member of the Legion of Mary, you need to understand your church and love it and know more about it so that you can make other people love the church and understand it. And then one youth asked in AOB, how do we know more about the Catholic Church? How can we understand? So I want to throw that question to you, because yes. I believe she asked that question genuinely, and I believe it's something many youth would like to know, because usually we go to church, and church is mass. There isn't serious teaching about the Catholic Church, ABCD and all that. So and the synod is telling us participation, but you can't participate in something you do not understand and something you do not know about. So the question is, how can we help the youth, or how can the youth know more about the Catholic Church and understand it, so that they can make others understand it, love it, and appreciate it?
It's a very important question, sister. And one of the salient issues, contemporary issues, really to be addressed in such synods, the youth participation in all the churches. Because the segment of the faithful that is most challenged in most cases are the youth.
And the
yes, they have energy. When they decide to do something, as brother said, they do it with a lot of energy. Yesterday I was moving with a colleague who was driving, and once we reached somewhere and I said, I'm imagining driving at this speed. When I was still young, youth, this speed couldn't be. Okay, I was usually at terrible speeds. Usually we liked those convoys of the VIPs. Ooh. Yeah, so that speed there. Said now, but when I grew up, I'm slowing. I'm trying to ask you so many questions. Why this? Why that?
Why would I want to join the convoy?
Yes, why? You know. So really, you being a youth is interesting. So how really can we help these people to understand their church? First of all, being brought on board in leadership, first of all, given places like now we have in our diocese, the Saba-Vobuka and the Naba-Vobuka, and also to encourage them to be active, because that segment is sensitive, that usually they understand themselves, they know their language, so they can talk. So they are the ones really, because
they know their codes.
Yes.
Coded
So
language.
now they are the ones, of course, because we said all this, we have a shared mission. We have to evangelize everybody, but now you find it easy to evangelize to a fellow youth. Yes. So we can bring them on board in leadership and also encourage them. We can create youth forum, okay, for them, such that they meet once in a while to discuss the issues that are pertaining to their brackets. We can involve them in liturgy. We can form youth choirs, for example, because you know there's a type of music they are interested in, the language they speak. You know, some of the priests that really preach to the youth, how they adapt their language and their style.
And when you talk about how the mass, I think I attended a mass by Father Luzinana.
Father Luzinana.
He was still here.
Yes.
I was lost in that mass. Totally lost. I was like, okay. Maybe this mass is not for me. I have to attend another mass.
But for them,
they were happy. They kept clapping.
They are at home. Yes. So there, actually, you are bringing them on board. You speak their language. You know their problems, and you share with them. You have experiences. So in doing that, you're really touching them. You're preaching to them. Yeah. We can also involve them by skilling them. They have swift brains. They grasp things very quickly. We can bring them on board by skilling them,
showing them
how to do things, being creative, how to create jobs, how to do certain work, public speaking, and all this. Okay, they feel at home in the church, and they will be the ones quickly to go and evangelize, bring others who have missed such sessions to come back. So we can involve them by really bringing them as a group together, share.
And in these groups, I think the key thing here, since we are looking at how can they know more about the Catholic Church, we use these sessions. It's a skilling session, but the conversation is about the church.
Or church, whatever we do.
What does the church teach? What's the church teaching? Because I'm sure even you have noticed this as legionaries when you go out to meet people and soul to soul and all that. You find even within the church, you find that even some adults do not understand many of the Catholic Church teachings. So I think we have a challenge there. First, I think it has to start with the adults. If they are to evangelize to the youth, they have to also understand what they are doing. But if you have a group where the adult is not sure, and then the youth is looking to the adult, goes to the adult, say, this and this and this, and the adult is like, So I think the challenge also is on us. We have to make sure we also
appreciate where we are.
What are some of the, Brother Matthew, what are some of the avenues where we can get someone in the meeting mentioned reading more about the church, the Catholic Church. Where is the literature about the Catholic Church?
Thank you, Sister, again, and our viewers. The key literature is the Bible.
Thank you.
Actually, at one point, I was interacting with one of the friends from the Western continent, and in his framing, he indicated Bible relates with the best instructions before you leave the earth. So to me, takes it as an acronym, best instructions. to our youth who are framing up as the future Catholics or leaders in the Catholic Church, or any, may not be a Catholic, but are faithful to lead in the church. It could be Anglican, it could be in the Islam, whatever. The key thing is developing the basics, principles of life. And you can only get those ones from the Holy Book, that's the Bible. Other than that one, we have other literature on the writings, but which also try to get the messages from the Bible.
They also get the messages from the Bible.
For example, we normally have newsletters of the Catholic, yes, which someone may read. Of recent, our Archbishop is coming up with the new productions, like for given groups. Like you have a production for the catechists. It is done for catechists as a project, but when you read the message there, it is informing, talking to us. The message speaks to us as the lay people. So although it is a product of the catechists. So looking at that, they are able to learn and get to know what they need to know about the Catholic Church. Now, while I know that the reading culture among the youth is very interesting, I would encourage them not only to look at reading the Bible, but putting the Bible into actions. We have hundreds of, okay, let me reduce to 10, it's not hundreds, of lay apostorates, which would be more engaging to the youth.
Like?
Yes, for example, we are here as regionalists. The regional normally provides for the different age groups. We have the young, like those are primary, and yes, junior, and then the adults. But also we have those, the youth, which most of the youth normally like the charismatic renewal, the Catholic charismatic renewal. Then we have the Xaverians, we have the YCS guys. These are lay apostoles that would enable them to grow spiritually, deeper in understanding their values.
I think we also have, is Youth Alive a lay apostolic movement, or it's not, eh? Yes, it's not a Catholic, what? It's an NGO? Is it an NGO?
Youth Alive?
It is, I think, among the, it could be these other ones for the
Anglicans.
No. It is for Catholic, but there are those other movements which are for
they're outside the church.
Not that. We have the Ecclesial movements, where the main ones where the Catholic Church goes, but I mean the region of Mary, St. Jude, and other devotions,
Divine Mercy,
and so on. But also we have the Papal Societies, mission, something close to that, if we can able to check, where we have the things like the Banachizito.
Oh,
yes, childhood missionary.
Childhood missionary society.
Childhood missionary societies and the others. So they would St. Peter and others. So this would affiliating or relating with these movements and putting them as their movements in which they participate can help them to grow deeper in understanding their Catholic Church.
And then another simple one that someone mentioned in that meeting, someone mentioned just reading the catechism.
Yeah.
The catechism
of
the Catholic Church. Even as adults, if you ask an adult, just at random, any question about the Catholic, about the catechism, you will be surprised that they do not remember these things. Yeah. So the youth, I think it would be a very good starting point for the youth if they are to understand all these things that the Synod talks about and all that, because they, like you said, they all go back to the Bible, they go back to the catechism of the Catholic Church. And if we don't understand it, I think that's why many times we go off and fail to fit in. So I think at the end of the day, participation is also an individual choice. That's what I'm thinking. If the church has put all these avenues, the lay apostolic movements are there, the Bible is there, the catechism is there, the priests are there, the lay leaders are there. It's upon the youth, it's incumbent on the youth to pick interest in joining these movements so that they can participate, like you said, through participation, mission, and communion. And by being part of these movements, you're actually communing. That's what I'm thinking. And then, brother, I don't know. One of the things I think that we can participate how people can participate by just attending Mass. Brother talked about reading the Bible, and for me, the best thing I appreciate about the way our Mass is structured is that you can actually learn about the Bible. If and one time I think our catechist mentioned, my catechist is called Somesa Mitala Deogracias. I send you greetings, Somesa, he watches this show. and one thing he actually taught me I didn't know is that if you attend morning Mass, if you attend Mass every day, even if it's not morning, even if it's after lunchtime or evening, you will finish the Bible by that. You will have finished the Bible by the end of the year. Because remember, every day you get a different reading, not just one. You'll get a reading from the Old Testament, you get a reading from Psalms, you get a reading from the New Testament, the Gospel. So that is every day times 7. Those are how many whatever. So it's like if you attend Mass every day for a whole year, people who are weak in reading the Bible, you'll have Bible knowledge, very good Bible knowledge. So our youth can also participate, not just the youth, even the adults. It's a very good way of participating. You participate, listen to the readings very well, and then apply. Listen to the sermon, and then go and apply what you are doing to your participation. You apply. So I think that's another beautiful way of participating. We are going to go for a break. And then when we return, dear viewer, do not go away. We shall continue with our discussion. Welcome back, dear viewer, from the break. If you've just joined us, we are happy to have you with us. You're still on Uganda Catholic Television, Good News for All. My name is Elizabeth Namazi, and my guests are Brother Noah and Brother Matthew, and we have been discussing the synodal process. And in this segment of the show, we are going to discuss how to encourage participation in church discussions, and then the impact of the synodal process on parish life. Brother Noah, how can we encourage participation in church discussions, I think, during this synodal process?
Thank you very much. I want to widen the question a little bit because you, as you recall, a synodal process of coming up with a synod is of a limited time frame.
Yes.
But the problems that the church encounters are on a daily basis.
Yeah, true.
So which means the discussions are ongoing even after the synod process. So which means this discussions, involvement in discussions should be ongoing for Christians. One way of encouraging participation is through councils. Yes, through councils of elected leaders, free elected leaders by the laity, coming together to discuss the matters pertaining to their area, pertaining to their sub-parish, pertaining to their church in their locality. So we encourage them, everybody in that gathering, everybody in the meeting should be given an opportunity to speak, because synodality encourages that we all journey together. So everybody has an idea to bring on board. Everybody's view should be given attention. If somebody's point of view is not taken, let's explain why it has not been taken and why the other alternative has been opted. So by so doing, we shall encourage the people to come together, discuss, resolve on the way forward in our areas. And
I'll give an example for how important discussions are. On this coming Sunday, we are going to celebrate the Corpus Christi, the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. So in our parish, we are lucky we are going to have a procession. So yes, so the church leaders had come up with a route that we are going to go and visit schools, and this time we are taking the Lord to the schools, and then they had a certain route. And then one of the days during the week on Tuesday, the church leaders met some Christians after the morning mass and told them, like to inform them that, you know, on Sunday, Corpus Christi, we shall take this route and all that. And then the Christians were like, but that's the same route we took last time. There are some places that have never gotten an opportunity for the Lord to visit their places. What is Kulamla in English?
Can use the equistic, I think.
to visit their place. So why don't we use a different route? And it actually made sense. And this was coming from the Christians. So when you said discussion, that's it brings a lot on board that the church leaders themselves can easily overlook. It's instead of just throwing things at people. So because now the opportunity the church leaders now had was to hear from the laity, from the people, what do they think about this route? Now, if the leadership was wrong, they could have said, no, it is already, we've already decided, we shall pass there next time. But fortunately, actually they were like, no, actually you're right, we had not thought about that. So yes, so the route was changed, which was a nice thing. So I think when you say you have to listen, what are the people we are leading saying? And then see if you can take their ideas. If you can't, explain to them. I think that's a very important point.
And you've mentioned a very important aspect in that colleague's answer, or in what you've told us. Rotation. Yes. Rotation, because last year we were here. Okay, why don't we take also an opportunity to other places? So rotation also in meetings, rotating councils in an area also encourages participation. When you visit people's locality, when you change the sub-parish council, parish council from the headquarters of the parish to out-stations, sub-parishes, more people will be glad to receive the parish leaders in their sub-parish. And they will, at that time, if you are careful, you are observant, you will find that the attendance of the people, the host sub-parish, was going to be more than the rest, because now they are the host. So in so doing, you are encouraging them to come, listen, air out their views, and be heard, and contribute to the running of the. So rotation is so important also in discussions.
Is this done often, the rotation of that rotation you're talking about? Is it something that is done with each synodal process?
Actually,
you know,
rotation of especially because now every parish is given the mandate to do their business, but I can cite many parishes that do that. They have stopped hosting parish councils at the headquarters only. They are now rotating, and it's in the work plan that in this month, or in this quarter, the parish council is going to sit in such a sub-parish.
I think it's happening in our parish.
Yes, many parishes have adopted
so that's part of the synodal.
Yes, encouraging participation.
Putting into action.
Because I hear it this time, the meeting for all the marrieds is going to be in our sub-parish.
Yes.
Now, last time it was necessary, this time they are going to the next sub-parish. Oh, okay,
yes,
it's part of that. You know, we see these things happening, but we don't pay much attention.
Yes.
But that's part of understanding that the synodal process.
Moving together.
Okay. Yes, Brother Matthew, do you have a similar experience in whatever? And I think when we talk about the rotation, Brother Matthew, talk about something that happens. I don't know, it happens in our church. You find that you have the same leaders, the same church leaders over and over again. People, they are just rotating. You're talking about rotation. He was the Saba Christo, now he becomes the financial, and then he becomes the Saba Fumbo. Then I don't know. Is that how does that impact the synodal process?
Well, thank you again, Sister Liz. In my view, I know that could be happening in most of our parishes, not only in the Kampala Archdiocese, but also probably in other dioceses. And it happens for one reason, that other people in the Catholic community have not come to believe that they can make a contribution. And yes, definitely what you find that many people will always come back in the same positions and at the same level, just because there is no other person willing or ready to take up that position. However, in my view, like I said, on contributing to the growth of the church, I wouldn't have any problem someone coming from a lower level, say sub-parish, then the next time is elected at the parish. And why not be elected at the diocese level? That is, to me, that's what will mean leadership. Yes, that should be leadership. Otherwise, keeping at the same level, it means you are not you are not contributing anything more. Because leadership should teach you. You should go to learn from the way you lead and the people you are leading. And when when you start your leadership, by the time you finish up your term or tenure, you don't have to be the same person the way you started the leadership. You should have come to a better position to do even better contribution, and probably someone should have learned from you.
Does that mean that if you come out from that your term ends and you're still the same person, would that probably mean that you are not a good leader?
In the school of management, it is true. Yes, because a good leader should inspire others to be leaders. Someone should say something, says, I want to be like Brother Noah.
The youth we were talking about, actually. And the young
And
children.
when he says, I want to be like Brother Noah, when he has been inspired, give him his inspiration.
Give him an opportunity to serve in those positions. Actually, which will bring our rotation back to. So you find that the young are learning from the adults, and the very young learn from the youth. The youth learn from the adults. So when your term is over, the youth should be. How can we encourage the youth to take over these leadership positions? I don't know if it's the same case in your parishes, but in our parish, I don't know.
In our parish, because you asked me a question.
Apart from just being Sabavubuka.
Yes, you asked me a question to relate it to my experience. I thought you wanted my parish now. Of recent, we are having a similar model, not only the parish council, but also the different departments. We encourage them to do a rotational model. And the first active one other than the parish council was the youth themselves, visiting their fellow youth in their sub-parishes. I am saying about because one of the sub-parishes is yet to be confirmed. I don't want to be my parish priest to hear me pronouncing it, that it is a man. But I'm saying about, we have 8, but if it was fledged as a sub-parish, it would be 9. And I want to indicate that every time they are having a meeting among the youth department, they move to the different sub-parishes. Even when they are making their programs, which activities to go to. Some of the programs that we have had in our parishes to make the youth very participative has been involving culture, you call them culture together or something? MDD. We have had that one a number of times in the recent about 10 years. We have had it so often. We have had sports, football, yes, they compete alongside the singing competitions. Yes, and we think this is coming up to bring them fully engaged into the church. But like I've said, in preparation for these programs, they always go to the sub-parishes. Like normally, we tell them nobody can look for their fundraising because they need to be facilitated. So they sit in their meeting and they choose, say, so and so, please go to this sub-parish and they meet the people there. So when they come, they don't talk to the youth only, but talk to all the Catholics in that sub-parish. And to me, I think that is already involving them into understand that actually you're not only for the youth, but rather for the entire church. Then also we have other departments. My Mumbeja, I send her greetings, Mumbeja Babirie. She's our chairperson for the Good Samaritan. She has effectively used the same model, holding monthly meetings of the department into the sub-parishes. We have regionalists not so often, but they always take the Churia meetings. While I belong to Kampala Central, but the Churia in our area for St. Charles Manganja Kalori, they always move to sub-parishes on given programs, like on holding some feast days or common prayers as Churia. They normally move to visit their fellow legionaries in the sub-parishes. So ideally, we have this taking place to involve everyone. We have other models, probably you know about prayer, like in the month of the Rosary, moving to the communities and what. They always move on. Yes, and I think to me, these are all programs for participation. Yeah, like we are indicating it. So that is the experience on my side, which I think is in line with the theme of Kampala Archdiocese, but also these main elements of the synod of communion, participation, and mission. Yeah.
Okay, now Brother Noah, I want you to take us through the impact. Has the synodal process, as we have been discussing it, do you think it has had an impact on parish life?
Yes, very much, I think, in my observation. Very much, it has taken root. We have examples where we can cite increased participation, especially of the age group of the youth. In my area, I come from Bulova Parish, St. Valley Kudembe. We have very active department of the youth, and every year they go out, reach out programs. They reach out to their fellow youth in rural areas.
How do they do that? What do they?
They mobilize themselves, and mobilize aid in the form of financial support and in the form of material, clothing, and the things used in day-to-day life. And then they go out as a team and visit the fellow youth in those areas in other dioceses. And they do that, by so doing they learn a lot from that. They learn to appreciate what God has given them in their area. They teach fellow youth in those areas where they go. So those outreach programs really impact a lot on the youth, the visiting youth, and also the hosts. So you can see really that participation is increasing. Every year you see that the number. Okay,
and that is also mission.
Yeah.
I think you can't separate participation from mission. Eh?
True.
It's
because
hard.
what are you participating in?
Exactly.
Participating in reaching out to the people. Yes, missionary work. So you find that the synodality is really impacting on the youth. Yes. Also, the councils in where we come from, councils are really gaining momentum. Yeah. People have come up right from small Christian communities to take up leadership positions, and they really fight hard to see that they are elected to serve. So when they come to these positions, they really learn a lot. They really learn a lot, and encouragement has been all the way through the parishes that we stop being leaders of functions and all that, but serving leaders. You go out because we are challenged by other denominations. Do you know the neighbor and what the neighbor needs? Before you know God, first look at the needs of your neighbor, and that's the grassroots of our faith. So we learn to care for the people in our communities. So really, you see that the synodality has impacted greatly on leadership and on our yes.
Brother Matthew.
Yes,
Brother Matthew, do you think that, did you agree with Brother Noah that the synodality has had an impact on our parish life?
Yeah, I totally agree with what he has said. It has really impacted. Maybe to take it on again, to incorporate a given aspect, you notice that there are lots of changes that we have made to look at on how to incorporate the culture into the prayer and the praise. You get that? And we have to appreciate that that was a result of the synodality element in that. what am I saying on this is that the participation you're talking about is not only in the local, why the question said the local, but it goes on building from the sub-parish, say from Ecclesial community or Kabondo, Christian community, to sub-parish, then to parish, to diocese, then you can say to Ecclesial provinces, and then from there you can talk about at national level, at country level, and maybe continent also, or can use the word global, until you move up to our mother church based in Rome. You get that? And we noticed that while we are looking at the participation at the lay life of the Catholic, but also in the process of coming up with a synod like we talked about from the beginning, it is also highly involving. Like I said, if you remember how we did this, there are questionnaires that came to the local people, that process followed the meeting of the Archbishop meeting key persons in the church. Following the call from the Pope, the Archbishop met key leaders in the church, and is involving the vicars, those are the administrators in the vicariates, meeting the assigned priests and lay apostolates in teaching and sanctifying departments, involving our catechists, involving our leaders of the lay apostolate in the courts, normally refer them as our quaestors, and all the other councils. So we really indeed participated in the process of making this synod ourselves. You get that? Yes. So in my view, that participation, even if we get into how this is translated into now our future life of the in the church, we participated in coming up with that arrangement. And if you look at it in the recent, there's much focus now, and I think it is, if I'm not forgetful, it is one of the questions that is still being addressed on how to make women more participative in the Catholic Church.
We participate most.
Amen. If you look at it
by Catholic Church, what do they mean?
If you look at it,
the big up,
in the past, top. Yeah. In the past, if you look at it from the clergy, definitely
there we don't participate.
The clergy we participate. What consists the clergy? The clergy is not only the priest and the pope and the bishop.
I'm looking at the priest and the pope and the bishop and the
yeah, but there are those others that help in serving. What am I talking about here is that initially, for example, it used to be like our reverend sisters were not supposed to do certain arrangements in the church. But if you look at from now, for example, they are sometimes the administrators of Holy Communion. They can pronounce the word of the Lord, take readings, take the gospel, help the priest in conducting mass. There has been some adjustment. That's bring the women into participation. And the biggest one actually was the catechists, the female catechists. Actually, in our parish, I think they are now 50%. Wow. Male and then female. But in some areas, actually, it is ladies now who are catechists in the areas. It is a bit challenging, but I think it is really impacting a lot. If you look at it from the last time I had the function I attended, and I think all the server quaestors, that's the person of the Kampala Diocese, were attended. But it was only one lady, the current chairperson of the lady. The Kampala Archdiocese. Yes, she's the one that was a lady. All the others were men. So to me that is a transition. Bring the ladies into participation. Let me give you a question. Just before that, I'm blessed, the chairperson of the lady of St. Charles Wanganja Karoli Catholic Parish is a lady. That's nice. And coming from my sub-parish, Solomon Yombo. Nice. So, what I'm looking at this, recently we had the meeting again, and I was teasing them. We met with the chairperson of the lady for the Ecclesial communities, the Wondo. And out of, I think about 40 turned up, but the men were not even 10. In that meeting. Is it because the men are the leaders but they don't participate in the meetings? No, I think the whole thing has been allowing women to participate. So you have more female leaders? Yes, initially I was teasing them that I think the name should change. When it says sir, Sava Kisto, that is female.
That's the question I was going to ask you. So
you are not seeing that ladies are taking up this role. And to me, that was a good step in engaging.
Someone actually asked me that question, but why do they say we have a female Sabakristo in our at the St. I come from St. Padre Pio parish,
Yes.
So the Sabakristo of the shrine, not the parish of the shrine, Padre Pio shrine is a lady.
Yes.
So they announced, oh, the Sabakristo come and say a word after mass. After then the lady comes, and then after mass someone came and but. What, she's a woman. Why are they calling her Sabakristo? Why not Nabakristo? So that's
no, you are leading all the members of the community. But
it should change.
You don't have to change it. Why not to change it? Mother Mary was a lady. She's the queen, but Kabaka. That's why actually sometimes I don't like the way sometimes the translation. So Mother Mary is a model for the women. They should not think that the leadership was only meant for men, but also they take up the leadership in the church. And to me, I'm learning that actually they could be more effective than us men. I don't know why, but I'm looking at Mrs. Mwaka, or chairperson of the rate of the Kampala Archdiocese, a force she's having as a lead. She's really on it. And also I've told you, our Sabakristo chairperson of the rate is Mrs. Soro Miriombo. At the St. Charles Karoli. Yes, she's on it, leading certain programs, and we think they will take us to a given step. So I think our viewers, the ladies and the girl child that is there, you better aspire to take up the leadership in the church. Yes.
So actually the impact has been there. I think it's anyway, I won't say it's all over, but also in my sub-parish, parish, we are having the same impact that at sub-parish level, in our sub-parish, we are sub-parish. The Sabakristos, I think in 2 of the 3 sub-parishes are ladies. So I think that's that has been one of the biggest impacts of the synodal process, bringing more women on board. And although I think it's kind of a challenge to the men, because men are now, their participation is now going down, at least in our parish, in our church. It's kind of going down. I'll give an example of the Catholic Women's Guild in our sub-parish. In our parish, not just a parish, it's very, very active. And then at a parish level, the men's guild, it's not there. The leaders are there, but it's not, its impact is not felt. I don't know whether your men's guild is working in your parishes effectively. I hope one of you is not a leader of that. Is not a leader.
Incidentally, for me, I'm the secretary of my sub-parish. So I follow closely whatever goes on in different departments in my sub-parish. But as you said, similarly in our sub-parish, the Women's Guild is more vibrant. However, of recent, after, like training and all that, advice, the Men's Guild are coming up super now in my sub-parish, and they are now they are becoming
chasing
really
the
women actively. Participating in so they are coming up with work plans that are vibrant. They are outreaching. They are participating in diocesan programs, donations
to
the sub-parish. In every meeting, in every meeting, we would demand the reports, and you cannot have a report where you have not worked. So always they would not have reports. They have excuses. But why? We did not see it. There's no activity. So we always encourage them, look at your fellow women. So you will feel embarrassed. But now in the South Parish, thanks to the leadership of my Sabakristo, Mr. Remigius Mungere, greetings to you. We have always had these talks with the different department heads, and now one of those that are coming up is the Men's Guild.
And I think that's a challenge for the next synodal process. I think the focus has been a lot on how to increase women participation, and it has caught fire, and somehow the main participation has gone down. Now they have to use the same strategy to see that the main participation comes up again. Apart from the leadership positions, the men take most of the leadership positions, but when it comes to actual participation of the church members, I think the impact of the men is not that much. You'll find it's the women who are who attend most meetings, the women who get I don't know. I think that's something that the synod needs to look at, how to bring to light their fire again. I think it has been an interesting conversation about the synod. I hope our viewer, you've come out of this discussion feeling more educated about the synod and its impact and how you can participate in the synodal process. And like we said at the beginning, just to summarize, it's just through participation, communion, and mission. That is what it is. I think that the Diocese of Mityana, their theme is about abasechimu mukristu, something
that is all togetherness.
Togetherness. So it is still the
it is about communion.
Yes, the communion, the
tunyikize eddiini mu maka, mu masomero ne ku mirimu.
So it's still the same thing, mission, participation, and what. So dear youth, dear viewer, wherever you are, let's embrace our synodal process and to make the Catholic Church more vibrant. Thank you so much, Brother Noah and Brother Matthew, for educating us more about the synod, the synodal process. Please come again next time you're invited. Dear viewers, stay blessed. Keep praying the rosary. Although the month of May, I keep saying the month of May ended, but the rosary did not end. It's still ongoing. Mother Mary is still there for you. Keep running to her for her intercession and trusting in her intercession. She does not disappoint. So see you, and if this Thursday you didn't go for adoration, please make time next Thursday. Just plan ahead. Thursday, 1 hour of adoration is all the Lord asks of you. Stay blessed, keep praying. Bye-bye.